My next guest is the Republican lawmaker who would defend President Trump on the House floor if the Democrats are successful in launching a second impeachment trial in the president's final days in office. Congressman Jim Jordan is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here.
Good to be with you, Maria.
We want to get to what's happening this morning in terms of this crushing of free speech. But first, tell us about these articles of impeachment. Are you expecting them tomorrow? How does this play out in the upcoming week?
Well, I mean, first of all, what happened Wednesday is a tragedy. Everyone knows that it's as wrong can be. But I hope the Democrats don't go down this road. We don't know if they're going to. Let's hope that they do not do that. 75 million Americans who supported the president have been called deplorables, who eat at the Olive Garden. Remember what Peter Strzok said when he was at the Walmart several years ago? He said that, you know, he could smell the Trump supporters here. Now the Democrats are going to try to remove the president from office just 7 days before he's set to leave anyway. I do not see how that unifies the country. I hope what happens is what Senator Graham said Friday night on this network when he asked Vice President Joe Biden, President-elect Joe Biden, to give a speech to the country and say we should not be pursuing this impeachment. We should not be pursuing this 25th Amendment. Let's bring the country together and move forward and return to being this America, the greatest nation ever. That's where we need to focus.
So tell me then what happens if the president gets impeached again? Does that cancel out him running again? I mean, what is the point of this? Wouldn't Joe Biden want to get right to business and start pushing through his nominees onto his cabinet?
Right, and also getting the right people into cabinet positions for the safety of the country, for the good of the country. I mean, key positions like Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, a leader of Health and Human Services. So for the good of the country, I think it makes sense for Vice President Biden to do that, President-elect Biden to do that. But it also is, I think, good for him, good for the country as a whole to help bring us together. As Professor Dershowitz pointed out, I think it's unconstitutional what they're trying to do. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and we will not move down this path. If, in fact, there was a conviction in the Senate, then, of course, the Constitution is clear that the president can't hold office. But as Mr. Dershowitz pointed out, impeachment is for a sitting president. And the president, if the Democrats pursue this, could not have a trial until after he has left office. So I think it's got real constitutional problems. But most importantly, it's not healthy for the nation. We're at an important point. I'm very concerned about where we're at. I hope we can begin to come back together.
So who was this, and what was behind this heinous, disgusting move to put an assault on our democracy by breaking into the Capitol on Wednesday? Yeah. Where is the accountability there? What's your reaction to that, Congressman?
Well,
how do we move past it?
You got to hold the people who did these terrible things accountable, and the law enforcement and the Justice Department is doing just that. You know, people are responsible for their actions, and these terrible actions that were taken, they need to be held accountable and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Just like we were. Well, one thing about this, Maria, Republicans have been consistent. Last summer, when terrible things were happening, we called for ending the violence and prosecuting the people who destroyed property and attacked police officers and attacked private citizens. We've said the same thing about the terrible things that took place here in our nation's capital last Wednesday. Let's be consistent. Democrats, on the other hand, and this is unfortunate, Democrats, on the other hand, said, this summer they said the cause justified the action. They even raised money to bail these rioters and looters out of jail. They named streets after the organizations who were pushing for these events. So all the while that they were talking about defunding the police. So let's be consistent. Let's be consistent, and let's calm everything down and focus on unifying the country as we move forward.
Yeah. You make a really important point. We all watched those Molotov cocktails being thrown at police, bricks being thrown into windows this summer, forcing business to board up. And now today we have a constitutional crisis with this crushing of free speech. Congressman, I know you've got a lot on that as well. We'll get back to that next time we see you. Great to see you this morning, Congressman Jim Jordan. Thank you, sir. We'll be right back. Stay with us.